body positivity. Let's talk about it. So this came up. Obviously, this has been a thing the last few years, but I've been following a few people on Instagram, and I saw a friend put up something about they wanted to know body positivity channels and Instagram pages and all that. So they wanted to learn more about that, and this is a person that they've been kind of putting on a little bit of weight over the last few years, I guess. And they seem to be a bit vulnerable about it, right? And they want to be more body positive or whatever. So the body positivity movement or idea, I guess, is to be positive about your body, even if you're fat, which is what it essentially is what it seems to be saying, right? And it's obviously aimed more at women, I suppose, but maybe guys as well. And there's a couple of problems with this whole movement. I think what we really need is a bit of truth and a bit of honesty, and a bit of real honesty. Because sometimes some of these things, it seems like what we're trying to do is we're trying to make ourselves feel better about something that we have power to change and that we probably should change, but we're just looking maybe to delude ourselves or something, or make ourselves feel better about it. So what I see in this is the idea that let's kid ourselves on, I guess. I don't know. That's what it kind of feels like. The whole thing, it feels like kidding ourselves on that we can truly feel positive about our body even though we're fat. And that's something that I think that I do think there's a big lie in that thing. I'm not convinced that anyone who's claiming to be a kind of body positive activist or whatever, I'm not sure if really deep down inside they truly feel positive about their body. I think they present that because other people want to buy into that idea. So why has this sort of come about? Well, it's now just average and standard in society for people to be fat. The average person is overweight. It's a really terrible thing. But it's happened because of a rise of just the prevalence of food. Food is just all over the place, all the time, any time of day. And the processed foods are very high in calories. We're adding more and more calories to food because it makes it taste better. Portion sizes have got bigger. People have got, there's certain social restrictions on eating food in the past that are no longer there. So people never used to eat on the street, walking around on the street. People never used to eat on the outside in parks or walking along. Now that's quite standard. I think probably in the past it was more of a norm to, if you went into someone's home, not to necessarily take any food out of politeness. People didn't have as much food, obviously, at certain times. So all these different conditions have changed, and food is just freely available all the place, all the time of day. People are obviously able to store a lot of food. We just have food constantly available to us. People use food when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're celebrating, when they're commiserating. There's always an excuse to eat more food. People are obsessed with food, addicted to food. And as adults, it's interesting because I was at a group recently, my Toastmasters group, and a question went round, what do you prefer at Christmas, presents or food? And almost everyone said food. Almost everyone said food. Now think about children. What do you prefer, food or presents? All of the children would say presents. So it's interesting how things change, as you get older. The priority, people become more and more and more drawn to food and addicted to food and need food and comforted by food. So it's interesting, right? And it makes people fat. So people end up getting fat. They eat so much food. So quite simple, really. Vegans, raw vegans even, sometimes, and loads of people that consider themselves healthy get fat as well. So people are getting fatter and fatter. It's become more accepted in a sense, and there's a bit of a movement of this body positivity thing. And there was I don't know if it was Cosmopolitan or one of the women's magazines that had a big fat woman in the front. And I don't want to judge it. I'm not trying to judge anyone by saying they're a big fat person. It kind of sounds bad to say it like that, but I guess I just want to describe the woman. She was very overweight. Probably overweight is a better word to say, I guess, but it's still a bit judgmental in a sense. So I don't know what the best word is to use. Fat, overweight. Now, the issue with all this thing is that, yes, there's a lack of kind of honesty and truth there. That we can accept that as being a new standard of beauty or attractiveness or something else or health. And when we look at this, the first thing is we know that being fat or having too much fat or being overweight is never healthy on any level. So apart from obviously if someone's underweight or anorexic, it's better to be fat than anorexic, for sure. But with being fat, you increase your risk of getting cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and all the basic things that kind of kill people. Now also, the foods that people eat to get fat are the same foods that cause those diseases, so it kind of depends which one's which, right? So but they're connected. Obviously you're carrying more weight, you're putting more weight on your body. That's not necessarily a good thing. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, but you never feel better when you put on weight. You never look better. You never function better. You never move better. There's no reason, especially no reason health-wise, that being fatter would be better in any way. There's no reason at all. The second thing is it doesn't tend to make people look better. The more weight you put on, the less good you look, really. And let's be honest about that. That woman that was overweight in the front cover of the magazine, none of the women who are looking at that are actually thinking, oh, that's what I want to look like. And that's where the sort of the lies come in, or the dishonesty about it. We've got this society where we want to applaud people for being themselves, and we want to applaud all sorts of different things that people want to do and be yourself, be whoever you are, whatever. And we almost treat people that are overweight like that's who they are, and that's not who they are. To me, I don't see that. That is an aspect of their body and a symptom of their eating and their habits. And there's just too much dishonesty, not wanting to accept the truth or the reality. I can't find the right word right now. Delusion. Thing about sometimes with people that put on weight is they lack self-awareness to really admit that it's their fault and really admit that they're putting on weight because they're eating too much, and that they are eating more than the average person, and there's a lack of self-awareness, or they sometimes think, why am I putting on weight and not this other person? Why that person's eating so much? And it's just a lack of honesty, lack of kind of self-honesty of reality. So that's a problem to me. I see that as a big problem that people have. But you never look better the fatter you get. Now, I want to say, right, I've been attracted to a lot of fat women. So I don't mind using the phrase, like, I don't judge people or think they're unattractive or nasty or whatever. I don't think that's always the entire thing of why a person's attractive anyway. It's not all about their body and whatever. But I think with most men, skinny is not the thing that they're necessarily looking at as being the most attractive thing anyway. Like skinny runway models or whatever. They sometimes have attractive faces. A lot of the times they don't even have attractive faces. I don't really know why they're a model or whatever, but what we know is that that's what women look at, and that's what women aspire to. So regardless of what men think, women want to look skinny because that's what women like, right? So they buy clothes when they see the clothes on skinny women. They don't want to look like the fat woman. As much as they want to be positive about it and support that woman to be what she wants, deep down, honestly, they don't want to look like that. And men don't want to look fat either, right? And men aspire to some degree to the six-pack thing and all that. I mean, when I was at school, I used to try and exercise to be like that. Not so much anymore, but but used to think like that. So body positivity to me is mostly a bad thing because it's a bit of a lie. It's like pretending that you feel positive about yourself. That's what I don't like about it. It's okay to say I'm a bit fatter than I want to be, and I'm not happy about it. I want to lose some weight. Why isn't that? Why aren't people happy with saying that? Why do people get so emotional about the fact that they're overweight? Why don't you start doing something about it? You're not that, and that's the power of food. It's basically saying food is controlling you, and you've got no chance of ever beating that. Right? That's the scary thing for me, is that particular idea that some people are putting on weight. They've decided to try and think positively about it because they truly believe they've got no ability to change their habits or change their lifestyle or get rid of the food that's causing them to feel bad, put on weight, get unfit, increase their chance of getting sick, make them look bad, and all the rest of it. And it affects people's lives in a whole number of ways. So overnight, we're not just going to accept fatness, obesity as being a good thing, or not a bad thing, or a positive thing. We shouldn't accept it as being a positive thing. We also obviously shouldn't judge people on their weight entirely, but we have to be honest with all of ourselves and say that this is not a good thing. Obesity is a real problem in society, and it's a real disease. Well, I don't really call it a disease, but it kills people, basically. It does kill people, so we should really take it seriously and get rid of this body positivity idea, I think. And I don't think it helps to try and delude yourself into believing that you're looking good or feeling good when you're not. I think the whole journey of getting healthier is all about honesty and self-awareness, and that's what a lot of people don't have when it comes to their diet. And you might have it in other areas of life, but food is so powerfully addicting to people. Certain foods are so powerfully addicting to people that they cannot see the truth of the situation because of those foods. They cannot see the truth, and that's a real worry. I mean, that could destroy our world, that thing, because people can't give up the foods that are destroying the environment, destroying the planet, killing all the animals and all this stuff. People are so powerfully addicted to these things or conditioned into it that they cannot help themselves, which is really a worry for all of us. So we need to get honest about these things. We need to get honest, really super honest, and that's the only way we're going to start getting results. And one way of, and if you want to start getting honest with yourself, you can come to the Fruitfest. You can have a look below, and you can buy your ticket to Fruitfest 2019. And I also do coaching, so I've got a link below to sign up for more information about my coaching if you want help with that. Because one of the ways of getting super honest is working with someone that's going to keep you on track and is going to call you out for your excuses and your delusions and your whatever else, and try and get you back to what are your goals, how do we achieve that, what do we need to cut out of the diet, So that's one thing I've been working on, is coaching people the last while. If you want more information about that, have a look below. But I'm not a fan of body positivity. I do think that people should feel good about themselves regardless of how you look, because I don't think you should judge your entire life based on how you look or how fat you are, whatever. I think you should base it on what you're doing for other people and what you're giving back and what you're creating and how you're treating your family and friends, and that's a better thing to build your own self-confidence and self-esteem from. But you can do all those things better the healthier you are. You can contribute back to society better the healthier you are. So this isn't to judge people that are overweight or say that you've got no worth or anything like that. That's not what it is. But let's be honest with ourselves. Let's just say, hey, I'm overweight, I'm fat, whatever you want to call it, and try and take away the emotion from it, because people have probably been bullied, mocked, hurt, and all this stuff, and they've connected that all to being overweight and the fatness and everything. And so it's a very charged emotional issue, but we need to try and take that emotion away from it and just look at the reality of it. Okay, I'm overweight, I want to lose weight, or I want to feel better, or whatever. How do I do that? What are the steps I take? What action do I need to take? Let's get back to getting a plan together to move forward to a better life. And your self-esteem and everything, and how you feel, your self-respect should come from what you're giving back, I think, to people, and how you're treating people, and what you're giving back to the world, what you're contributing, what you're creating, and all those things. And so maybe this is a bit of a confused video in some ways, but I worry when people are, to me, it's when someone starts to bring up that, it's like, are they just going to keep on putting on weight forever now? Like, have they just given up? That worries me. So check out the links below. Thanks for the video. You can follow. I try and put up videos almost every day at the moment, talking about raw food and health and these kind of things. And hope to see you in the next video. Feel free to put your comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.